guys, Olive here. Welcome to my sunroom, or as I affectionately call this corner of my sunroom, my bird corner. I have it almost completely decorated now. I have some bird posters up here. I know you can't see them, but I will insert an image so you can get an idea of what the whole space looks like. We just recently ordered this little shelving unit behind us. It's actually a TV unit, but I'm using it as a bookshelf slash beverage stand when I'm here in my other cozy reading chair. I have some other little decorations over there. I'm not the best at decorating, so I'm feeling particularly proud of how this turned out. It's another little space here in our new-ish now place, since we've been here for over a year, that I can come and read and have some quiet time. It's nice that I have so many different places here where I can read and relax. But anyway, I thought a great way to break in this new potential filming location would be to do a discussion video. I have not done one of these in a really long time, but recently I've been thinking a lot about average Goodreads ratings and whether or not we should trust them. I have spoken a lot about Goodreads over the years. I do have my issues with the platform, which I have discussed at length, but overall I really do genuinely love it. I use it all the time, but there's one feature on the site that you will see every single time you go to a book page that you may overlook as insignificant, but it actually carries a lot more weight than you may originally think, and that's the average rating. It's typically right underneath the author's name. It's an average of all the ratings that individual users have assigned that book over the years. You can get a further breakdown of this rating by clicking the rating detail button that is right next to the average rating. It'll tell you how many ratings were 5-star, 4-star, 3-star, and so on and so forth, and it'll give you the percentage of people who rated it at each of those levels. So the rating that you see, the one that pops out at you right when you go to the book page, is the average of all of these individual ratings. And to put it extremely simply, the higher this average rating is, the more people like that book. A conversation about whether we should rate books is a whole bigger discussion, but I know they are certainly intended to give you a snapshot of a person's feelings toward a book. And I think it's fair to say that the Goodreads average rating is a good overall indicator of a book's popularity. My research tells me that there are over 75 million Goodreads users. So while not every reader on earth uses the site, it's quite well known and has a very healthy usership. So I feel comfortable in saying that an average Goodreads rating for a book can be seen as a sample of all readers' attitudes toward a book. In my experience on the site, it seems as though a 3.5-star rating or above is good. A 4-star rating or above is great. That means that there are far more 4- and 5-star reviews that are canceling out the inevitable 1- or 2-star reviews that every single book receives. I know that a lot of people, including a lot of booktubers, use the Goodreads average rating as a preliminary judge of a book's quality. All of our time is extremely valuable, and we don't want to dedicate hours to a book if we know it's going to be a lackluster reading experience. I have seen other booktubers explicitly say that they use the Goodreads rating system as a type of quality control test, that if a book has under a certain average rating, whatever that average rating may be, they'll think twice about picking the book up. I myself have balked at books that have an average rating of 3.3 stars, especially if they have below 3.3 stars. But I think it's important to pause and think about what an average rating tells us and what it doesn't tell us. First of all, my language so far in this video has been telling, because I think the average rating is a good indicator of a book's popularity, but not necessarily its quality. Popularity and quality are often confused as being synonymous, and sometimes they can be. Something can be both popular and it can be of good quality, but those don't always exist together. And this isn't coming from a lofty or a hipster standpoint of me saying that anything is popular must be bad. I like plenty of things that are popular, and I admit that they are bad. I don't like them because they're good quality. I like them because they're fun. A flaw of any kind of a rating system is that you can't know the reasoning behind it at first glance. And given only 5 options, those 5 stars are going to mean something very different for different books. I've rated book 5 stars that I've had a ton of fun with, but I've also rated books 5 stars that have absolutely changed my life. And obviously those two things aren't equal. So we can't truly know the motivation behind a rating without an associated review. Yet that numerical value is weighted equally across all reviews regardless. And that leads me into another complication. Since all ratings are counted and factor into that average, you have to trust that all of those ratings were given honestly. And I know that's not the case on Goodreads. Books that are not even out there as advanced copies yet are so far distant on the horizon that no one has read it so far, still have an average rating. These are typically given by fans of the author who are really excited for the book or want to support the author ahead of release. I've also seen users give books by authors who have become social media pariahs 1 star because they don't agree with the author's standpoint. And in both cases, I have seen users freely admit in their review with the associated rating that they have not read the book. I find both of these cases unsavory because in both cases, you've not even given the book a try yet. How were you able to assign it a rating? Especially considering the power that an average rating can have in a reader determining whether or not they want to pick up that book. Every single rating that is given less than honestly has the potential to skew that average rating towards something less than honest. So when we're looking at an average rating, we should probably be factoring that in. Lastly, each of our perceptions of a book's quality are fraught with complications. I've seen brutal reviews of books that I love because that person's expectations weren't met. If they had different expectations, perhaps they would have liked the book more. Maybe a reader was in a bad place when they picked up the book for the first time, or maybe they were in exactly the right mood for it and that influenced their opinion in the opposite direction. It could be any one of a billion things, but the point is that we can't tell from a numerical value how a reader actually felt about that book and what went into making them feel that way. It's probably clear by this point that I am disinclined to see a high average Goodreads rating as a measure of my potential enjoyment. There is just simply too much that goes into that number. Plus, I have hated plenty of books that have had very high average ratings and have been blown away by books with low average ratings. It's just not a very accurate or reliable measuring stick. All of that being said, I still completely understand the desire to use them. As I was saying before, all of us have a limited amount of time for reading given all of our other commitments. And who wants to willingly spend time reading a bad book unless paid reading is your thing? It's also so easy to just look at that rating and come to the conclusion that it wants you to come to. It's making an easy job out of something that probably shouldn't be, and that's determining if a book is for you. I'm of the opinion that if you really want to find out if a book is going to be for you, you need to scroll down the page a little bit to the reviews section. Read what people have to say about the book, especially people on your friends list. Maybe you want to take the time to curate a friends list full of trustworthy people who look for the same things out of books that you do. It's fairly simple to do this. You go to the pages of your favorite books, you read reviews that really capture what you think was amazing about that book, and you send them a friend request and preferably let them know why you're requesting them. By reading reviews from people that you trust, I think you have a much better shot of finding out if you're really going to enjoy that book. It's why I think platforms like BookTube are so important. You get to know us as people, you get to know what we look for out of books, and you get to see how your own viewpoints line up. As your trust in and familiarity with a booktuber or book reviewer builds over time, even if they are just giving a star rating to a book, it will mean something more because you know where they're coming from. I suppose that my concluding point is that the community aspect of Goodreads, especially reviews from reliable sources, are going to be the best determinant of a book's quality and should be trusted infinitely more than an averaged rating among all users. As much as I love numbers, I trust reviews from people I know and respect a hell of a lot more. But of course, this is the beginning of a discussion. I want to hear from you. Do you consult the average rating on Goodreads? Does it have an influence on whether or not you pick up a book? If not, how do you go about determining whether or not a book is for you? Please let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.